We're going to do things differently today.
Okay, what do you got?
Got a brand new thing going on. I don't remember how many weeks ago it was, but there was a point in time where you said, Igor, you're too positive. So you got to pick a movie at random.
That's right. One that you wouldn't like. Yeah.
Well, at random, because how would I know, right? Like, how am I supposed to pick one if I know about it?
Yeah. Fair enough.
So here's what I did. And this will be a new segment starting from this episode because I quite enjoy it. I went to a website that randomizes movie picks. So, like, you specify some criteria and it gives you back a random movie. And you can obviously pick no criteria. So you can just pick whatever random movie you give me. Doesn't matter from which decade, doesn't matter what genre, whatever. Just give me a random movie. And so I did. First of all, I'm obviously not going to rewatch movies I've already seen. So guess what the first pick was for whatever reason?
What?
It was Final Fantasy Spirits Within, which is interesting, right? It's like, well, I mean, if I hadn't seen it, this would be interesting to watch, but unfortunately,
You have seen that
I
one.
have seen it
Okay.
a long time ago. I could arguably watch it again, but I
Okay.
have
I
seen
actually
it.
don't know what that movie is.
Oh
So.
no, this was the movie that people didn't really appreciate, I think, but it was quite well done for the time graphically because this was made a long time ago, that movie.
Okay, but it was a Final Fantasy movie, but
But it
like
was
what?
nothing like Final Fantasy. That's probably the other reason people didn't like it. It wasn't like Advent Children. Advent Children was like Final Fantasy 7, but like an extension of it, right?
So this was like an individual movie,
Yeah,
like
it
it
was
was separate from
standalone.
any.
Standalone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
From any game. Yeah.
But it's a movie, right? There's nothing wrong with it. I think people were too hard on it, and
Okay.
ultimately, I still think it's fine. It's a bit uncanny valley by today's standards. That's the other problem.
Alec Baldwin, James Wood, Donald Sutherland, Steve Buscemi.
Oh yeah, the cast
Oh my
is
god.
is big names, but like
That
graphically,
sounds
it
like it.
had that uncanny valley feel to it because again, it's difficult to do such graphics for the time.
Right.
Because what was the year? I think it was. I feel like I was still in elementary school.
2001.
Yeah, so there we go. Anyway, that was the first movie. I skipped it. Generate again. Next movie I get. Never heard of it. Never seen it. And this is also the stipulation. I'm not going to read about the movie. I'm not going to try to figure out, like, am I actually going to
You're just
like
gonna
it?
watch it?
Just going to watch it.
All right.
And I get hit with this movie. It's called V/H/S.
VHS. Yes, I know that movie.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
I've
Well,
seen this
so
movie.
I figured you know it. It's a horror movie.
Yeah, it's a found footage movie.
Found
It's
footage anthology. Apparently, that's the name for it, right? Anthology, because it is
because it does a
multiple.
bunch of small horror
Yeah.
movies, right?
But they did, you know what? Surprisingly, like if you didn't tell me it's an anthology movie, and I didn't actually know until afterwards when the credits rolled, and I was like, oh, these are actually separate things. I wouldn't have known. I thought, you know what? They stitched them pretty well together. The underlying narrative story, which is, I guess, it's its own thing, but it pieced it together such that it looks like they're watching those movies. So good on them. I don't know. I thought that part was well done. Um, all the characters are kind of dicks, so they get their comeuppance. That's so all in all, it was happy endings.
That's usually how it works in the anthology
Everybody's a dick.
sphere. Everybody has to kind of because you have to do them so fast. Because like I'm watching also American Horror Stories. So there's American Horror Story, which does we've talked about this before. It does a story every season, and then there's American Horror Stories, which is a different premise every episode. So
Ah,
it's just like
okay.
it's almost the same thing where it's just a new where it's almost like an anthology.
How long are the episodes of American Horror
It's
Stories?
like 40 minutes.
So they're quite
So you're
long,
getting
though.
more out of them than this. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
these
getting more out of
ones.
them than this.
I feel like these ones were. I mean, the whole thing was 2 hours long, and there were, I think, 5 stories. So presumably it was like 20 minutes, I guess.
One, two, three, four, five. Yeah. So with these anthology ones is like you have to rush through them so fast. So you can't build them up right, and you have to make the audience really want to see what the horror is all about, like right away. And so the easiest way to do that is just to be like, oh, they're just bad people, and we're just gonna show you what happens. We're just gonna make it all gratifying, like bam, right out of the gate. So they usually are in these anthology things. They usually are bad people that are featured.
Right.
and very obviously bad people. It can't be like underlying like, oh yeah,
Oh, there's no multi-dimensional character development here. It's
yeah,
like
no, no,
these are
no. It's all very
drunkards
shallow and just like right in
womanizing
there.
and causing havoc for society, so they deserve to die.
Yeah, that's right.
No, but some of them it started off like that, yeah, where it's like pretty much immediate gratification. But there's other ones which they built up surprisingly well for such a short thing. They built up to it pretty reasonably. It's like it wasn't just there were two, I think. Two stood out that were relatively well built up. So good on them for that. And then I really liked the fact that it was actually like a VHS recording the whole time. So basically, whatever footage was there, it was done through a VHS camera, or there were digital cameras as well being used for some of them. But they did it in a way where it's still through the camera's perspective. So a lot of the tropes from Phasmo, and I guess Phasmo takes it from these movies, but the fact that like, things change, electrical interference causes the
Yep,
camera to shift and all these things.
yep.
Well done. Well done on them. That was a good throwback for me because again, I'm not a connoisseur of these movies. So for me this was all new for the most part to see these things when I had only first seen them in Phasmo and maybe like some other horror games.
There you go. You get a new
But
appreciation for
yeah, it's
phasmophobia.
good. It's good to see where it comes from, right?
That's right. That's right.
No, I thought they were well done. And you know what? Like again, I don't know what the gore content is supposed to be, but they kept it reasonable. It wasn't like a full-on gore fest in this case.
So a lot of these anthology movies, what they actually are is I don't know if you ended up looking it up, but I don't remember VHS specifically. They kind of start to blend together, and you're like, oh, what comes from where? But they can be very, very stylistically different. And the reason for that is so these anthology movies are usually just a bunch of short films from different indie directors. So they don't have high budgets. I don't even know. And again, it varies from anthology film to anthology film, but a lot of them are not necessarily even made specifically for that film. It might just be stuff that they've that the overall director or producer found and gets them to do things for them. So I don't remember how VHS came together specifically, and I don't remember the actual things in VHS, though I know I've seen it. But that could be why some will be more gratifying or more gory and quicker paced than other ones. Is the way they pull it together might not be under one big $20 million budget. It might just be like a contest or something like that, and that's how they pulled them together.
No, I didn't look it up, but I just know from the fact that the credits when they rolled, it did show like multiple directors and every little segment had its own cast and crew and songs licensed out and all those things. So I imagine that they were done by different people and then stitched together through some means.
I was gonna say sometimes it's jarring because you'll even get ones from like a Spanish director or something.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And it's like a mini foreign film you're watching sometimes in these anthology ones.
That's there was an anthology recently, sci-fi anthology on Netflix called I think it's called Love, Sex and Robots, where and it was very jarring because they were all different. So some of them were kind of mediocre, some of them were over the top action fests, some of them were like thought provoking. So yeah, I can imagine that, but I think that's fine. I think that's a good thing.
Sometimes they do a lot of these anthology horror movies will throw in like one that's not real, like not real, real life one. So like claymation or drawings or something like that. I don't know if this movie had any of that, but
No, it was all real
I find
people.
that to be okay. It was all real, yeah.
But I have to say the special effects for definitely the last movie special effects, they did a pretty good job for what I imagine is a low budget. Like they actually, they had hands coming out of the walls and stuff like that. It's
Oh, really?
very impressive.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
And it was also that's the other benefit of using VHS quality recordings. It's that you can really fudge the special effects. Right, you don't have to make them look really, really good because people will. First of all, the thing is shaking around so much, so you can't really catch any detail. But people will also not see the details because the resolution is so low.
So, what are your criticisms of the film now?
I don't have any criticisms, so there you go. You
Oh,
you
for
lost
fuck's
once
sakes.
more. I really thought, honestly, when I started watching it, I was dreading it because I knew it was like, man, this is the type of stuff Dustin likes. I'm not a fan of gore and all these types of things, but
Yep.
ultimately, I still appreciate it for what it is. I guess the only problem is like, yeah, there's a bunch of dicks in this movie, but because they get their comeuppance, I'm like, well, okay, whatever, it works out.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I don't know. Even if I'm trying to pick at criticisms, maybe maybe the fact that the story was too short, they could have extended it a little bit. But even then, if you extend it a bit, then it might actually reduce the impact because it's not like the stories themselves were overly complicated. Again, there were a couple I think that could have been expanded upon, the ones that were more slower paced because they really had to rush, I think, at the end, which is a shame because I like those ones. So I would have liked to
Yeah.
see them.
Well, I think that's the thing with these anthology ones too, is that you end up with the downfalls of they are really short. So if you find one you particularly like, it's like, well, I wish there was more of that.
Or just a bit of an explanation for some of the stuff.
Yeah, or if it didn't seem particularly fleshed out, again, you go, oh, I wish there was more of that to flesh it out, So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of the catch-all of, it's kind of the catch-22 of these anthology films. You always want more, regardless of which way they spin. But I think you just have to take them as kind of what they are,
Yep.
So you liked it. You have to come up with criticism. I was thinking about this. A review that does nothing but praise something and a review that does nothing but bash something are reviews that should be ignored.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why I would never be a critic.
Yeah, you wouldn't be very good at it.
I would be like Homer when he becomes a food critic and he loves everything, so people get fat.
That's right. Yeah.
I really like. I mean, in a way, I kind of appreciate that, but I fully understand that no, it's not a good trait to have fully just only positive things to say.
Yeah, you have to find some sort of a constructive criticism.
I can go ahead and say, you know what, they could have filmed it in higher resolution, but then that defeats the purpose.
That's not a good criticism, though. Yeah,
exactly. But you know what? I guarantee you, there's probably some review there on the internet where somebody made that criticism, saying, "Oh man, I wish the resolution of this thing was a bit higher."
Oh no, for sure. Yeah, because people are idiots. But you also have to have good criticisms. Like there's criticism and then there's constructive criticism. I look at it the same way as like when I reviewed Uncharted. Like that wasn't constructive criticism. That was just criticism. I hate the film. Don't listen to me.
I got a little countdown for myself for Uncharted 2. Little flag sitting there with with Tom Holland's head on it.
Yeah, and it just slowly rises from a treasure chest or something.
Yeah. It's all a full get up.
Or you got to do a Mark Wahlberg shot where the mustache slowly appears.
Yeah. It keeps growing.
The date of the release.
It's like one of those plants that, like, you buy those
Geopet.
Yeah,
Geopet Mark Wahlberg.
And then they grow. That'd be really cool. I'm thinking this because I don't know if you've seen it, but apparently there was a contest or like a sweepstakes controller for the Deadpool Wolverine movie.
Yeah, I saw that.
Xbox controller where the back of it is Deadpool's ass. It's in the shape of Deadpool's ass. That's beautiful. I wish they'd sold this normally. I would probably buy one just for the novelty.
I was looking at it and I was like, why? I don't think I would.
I'd want to see what material they use, because if it's just hard plastic, that doesn't justify it. It's probably not very comfortable to hold it then.
Probably is hard plastic.
Because there's no crack in there. It's not like you can slide your fingers.
I don't know if it's a real thing though. Was it a real thing?
I don't know. I saw it on I think it was Eurogamer.
Oh, it is a global sweepstakes. Okay. To win custom Xbox hardware, including controllers shaped like the anti-hero's bun of steel.
I guess if they're buns of steel, then they probably are made of hard plastic.
You gotta follow the Xbox account. So if you want to get in on this, because there's still time, even if you're listening to this, you have to follow Xbox on X and repost the official Xbox sweepstakes post.
I would never repost it.
No, me neither. I hate contests like that.
I'm too shy to post it.
Well, you're probably banned from X too, so.
I'm not banned. Elon Musk loves me. It's the Chinese that don't like me.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Just Twitter. Yeah, or TikTok, I mean. Lucky Gamer could also win 2 more custom Xbox wireless controllers and a custom Deadpool-inspired Xbox Series X, complete with a stand featuring foam versions of Deadpool's trusty katanas named B and Arthur. according to Xbox, Microsoft. Well, there you go. There you go. I'm really excited for this movie. I can't understate it. By the time this podcast comes out, it will be released.
Are you going to go see it in the theaters?
I was thinking about it. I might wait a week or so for it to die down, but I was thinking about it.
Yeah, I guess that's the only concern is if you go early, then
It's gonna be packed.
It's going to be packed. You're right. You got to be that statistic. You got to show your support so that they make another one, or like make sure that it doesn't fail, lest we have Uncharted 3 instead.
I think it depends on what the movie is. That's the thing. Is I don't know. Like, I don't know if they'll make another one, or if another one will make sense.
Well, or even just to support Ryan Reynolds. He's down on his luck these days. He's only got like 5 companies now.
In and of themselves, I wasn't a huge fan of the Deadpool movies. Like, they were fine, but everybody was like, "Oh, they're the fucking second coming," and I'm like, they weren't really. You know, they were fine. They were humorous at times. Sometimes they had humor that I didn't like. It's like with this Xbox controller. Like, I don't like Deadpool seems to be obsessed with asses sometimes, and I'm just like,
I think he's obsessed with many things. Yes,
I don't really care. So it's not my kind of humor. So in and of itself, Deadpool I don't really care about. It's more because Wolverine's coming back, or Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is coming back. And the most recent trailer showed that they are somewhat tying things into. I mean, the Wolverine in this movie is not the Wolverine from the Sony universe.
Ah, okay.
But Deadpool and all the Marvel does take place in that universe. So they make a lot of references. So at least the trailer did, and it sounds like they're going to, kind of use that in the movie also. They make a lot of references to the X-Men movies. Like apparently some of the characters coming back from that. They make a lot of references to
Dark
Wolverine
Phoenix
movies.
then, right? We're going to have Jean Grey.
Yeah, Sophie Turner back. Great, yeah.
Aren't you excited? And then
yeah,
Kamala
so
Khan is going to be right behind her.
Yeah, that's right. And then they also made reference to Logan, and I guess some of the characters from that are coming back. So
yeah, like Logan, right? He's going to be there.
Well, Logan will definitely be there, but some of the other characters, who are specific to that movie.
Little girl Logan as well, right?
Yeah, X-23 is coming back, which was a huge surprise, and actually a lot of people were not happy about that being revealed in the trailer.
Yeah, trailers tend to spoil stuff, so I don't like to watch them normally.
Yeah, but I watched it, and then, I don't know, the producers or somebody said, like, oh, don't worry, there's still friggin' a lot of surprises in this movie.
Here's another one.
yeah. Let's show you 5 more.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. So it looks like it's going to be very good.
Next, we reveal 3 possible endings. Which one do you think is the real one?
And I guess the way they wrote the movie was they made sure to write it in a way that they put the plot first. So they didn't write it like with jokes and all that kind of stuff in there. They just wrote like, what's going to make sense, what's going to be a good movie. And then they went back and Deadpoolized it. So I think it's going to end up being a really, really good movie. I think it could be a movie that it's not going to be on par with Logan, but I think it's going to be a movie that's going to be really close because it's a huge so the Wolverine in this universe is a Wolverine. It's from one of the comic universes where he's actually he's not well liked. In that universe, he kills all the X-Men, and he's not well liked. I think it was all because of delusions or something like that. I can't remember what it was. So that's the Wolverine that's being pulled into this universe. So it really is going to be a Wolverine redemption story.
So the Wolverine we're cheering for is the one that massacred all the X-Men.
All the X-Men, yeah.
Okay.
But it's going to be a Wolverine redemption story. So, that worked well with Logan. We'll see if it comes together in this film. And if they fix the MCU and erase Kamala Khan, then I'm all there for that.
Maybe that's going to be his they're going to show a flashback of him killing all the X-Men.
And one more.
And the last person he kills is Kamala Khan. And you're going to get your wish then.
I just want the last scene to be, remember in I guess they did it in the first Deadpool movie where he jumped through time or whatever and he went back to...
No, that was the second one.
Was it the second one?
Yeah, with Cable.
He killed the... Oh yeah, with Cable, that's right. And he killed he killed the original Deadpool from the Wolverine movie and then killed Ryan Reynolds for taking the Green Lantern role and all that. That's what I want the final scene to be. I want them to be just like, oh, one more thing. And then just Wolverine kills Kamala Khan. That's it. Like, it doesn't... She's just in a room. It doesn't even. She's just in a room.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
it.
they could
It's
do
just
that, I
applied
guess.
death.
Sure.
That's what I want the ending to Wolverine, this movie to be. That's it, and I'll be happy. Or walks into a drafting studio with the person who created Kamala Khan and just does it that way too. Then we can get rid of her from the comics also.
But see, this is all under the assumption that people don't like Kamala Khan. Because like
I'm still running on that assumption.
people didn't like that original version of Deadpool. That's true.
Well, people didn't like that original version of Deadpool because it wasn't actually Deadpool.
Yeah, but Kamala Khan is actually Kamala Khan, right?
Yeah.
So, there's no excuse. This would just be satisfying your fantasy, not the majority's fantasy.
Okay. Counterpoint. I don't care.
Well, okay.
What is general consensus of Kamala Khan? Oh shit! Somebody said she was the best part of the Marvels by far.
Maybe she's going to be the one to stop the bad Wolverine.
I think the general consensus of Miss Marvel has been generally positive. Ugh, whatever. I'm done with it for today. That was all I needed. That was just that was just people saying that she was the best part of the Marvels, which I feel like is probably not a high bar. So
Okay. I wonder if there's like a ranking of all the different heroes, superheroes.
That's true.
I mean, that'd be fantastic, I think, if there was like I don't know, maybe even community-based thing where you could see the thousands of different superheroes and they're all ranked. That'd be amazing.
That is true. It's hard to get a grasp on what people think when there's no conglomerate. Oh my gosh, she's number 16 on this one. Oh, this.
Out of how many?
This is what was CBR? Comic Book Resources. 20 most popular Marvel characters ranked.
Oh, so she's pretty down there.
She's number 16. Yep, this is just top 20. There's like freaking dozens or hundreds of them. And she's number 16 for some reason.
Well,
According to this one. Okay, but let me see who else is in front of her. Yeah, they got Storm at 13. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with Black Panther at 11.
It's all about representation. Who's number 1?
Iron Man is 5. Thanos is 4. Kind of feel like that's probably not right either. Hulk is 3. That's not right. Why would Hulk be 3? Why the guy who has no movies and nobody even fucking cares?
What do you mean? He has plenty of movies. He's got that one that nobody likes and that one that everybody hates.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Wolverine is 2. That makes sense. Spider-Man is 1. Not Tom Holland Spider-Man, I'll tell you that.
I think people do like Spider-Man.
He has long been Marvel star. I mean, even if you look at, why Sony owned Spider-Man, kind of shows you Spider-Man's been on top for a long time.
I like to think of him as the family-friendly Deadpool. He's the witty web-slinger.
Yeah, that's true. There was even a part in the recent trailer where Deadpool was pretending to be Spider-Man.
Oh, really? Okay. But see, that's the problem with these websites. They do the ranking themselves. It's not like they poll the community.
Let's see where she is on GameSpot. This is 38. This is all 38 cinematic universe superheroes as of 2022. Moon Knight's dead last.
Moon Knight is last. Why?
And the best thing about Moon Knight is how charming Oscar Isaac is. That's saying a lot. His standalone show wasn't very memorable. He feels disconnected from the rest of the MCU.
Which is a good thing in some cases, I think.
We aren't all that excited to see him join the gang. We're not even sure if it's going to happen. All right. Ant-Man at 36. Somehow Wasp is higher up than Ant-Man, which is weird, but okay. The Eternals. Kate Bishop, Punisher, Mantis. Oh, I really like Mantis. She should be way higher. Star-Lord is at 30. Nebula at 29. This ranking is fucked up. Drax at 27. Groot at 26. Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil. There she is. Miss Marvel at 22. Well, she's far enough. She's pretty far down there.
I mean, it's almost midway, right? It's not that bad.
And number 1, according to GameSpot, is Iron Man, then Captain America, then Thor, Black Widow, and Spider-Man at 5.
So the top 3 are 3 white guys.
Most of the Marvel characters, the MCU characters, are white guys.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Especially the most popular ones from Phase 1. Like now they're all diversity, characters. But
it wasn't like that when they were established.
When the MCU started, they were like all white people. Yeah.
It makes sense. Oh, here, I'll tell you a con about VHS. There we go. A constructive criticism.
Oh, here we go.
In this diverse era of ours.
If you're checking a box, I'm not going to be very happy with you.
I'm checking a box. There were no black people. I was waiting for a token black character to die first. Never happened.
There wasn't a single black
I
person in any
don't.
of
I
the.
don't think so. No, unless some of the masked people, because they're it's hard to tell sometimes.
See, there you go. Probably all the masked people were
That's
black or
true.
Asian
You're
or
right.
women.
You're right. You're right. That's how they cover themselves. They can check the box off, but
Yeah.
nobody knows.
Or gay. Also gay.
Well, but
Yeah.
who can tell, right? You can't tell that. You could just say these characters are gay. They have a certain other orientation of some sort. It doesn't matter. You can say all these things and never talk about them.
If I made a movie and people criticized it for like no gay people, I'd be like, "What are you talking
They're
about?
all
the
gay.
extras were gay." Yeah, I wouldn't say the main characters
Why?
were gay,
You could
but all
say-
the extras were
You
gay.
could say the main character is
no.
gay. It doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, but they might not be in the actual movie. So, whereas the extras, they don't have a background, so you can just say whatever you want.
That's true. Yeah.
They're all gay and all transgender too. So, surprise.
You cover yourself. You say each one.
That's right.
They're all gay. They're all women. They're all black, transgender, everything. You check every box for every single character that's an extra. See, Disney should do that and keep every main character the exact same as it was 60 years ago.
No, Disney just likes to minority wash all their characters and call it a day.
But they don't have to if they use your idea.
They don't have to, but they want to. Because if I thought about it just now, surely the incredibly intelligent Disney executives who can do no wrong thought of it years ago and didn't like it. They're just like, no, we're just gonna redo all our movies and put black people in the roles. Snow White, Snow Black, bitch. All right, and then we're gonna have that actress flap her lip off every chance she gets about it. So, and then pretend that she also wrote the story.
The actress?
Yeah, dude, she's fucking messed up.
Oh, really? That's too bad.
Well, you saw VHS, so next time you're gonna do it again.
Mm-hmm. Random
See
movie.
what comes up. That was good. That VHS was the first one. At least it was something I heard of. It's only downhill from here.
Hey, who knows? I mean, what are the chances of that being?
So where do they pull their movies from? Do they just pull them all from Rotten Tomatoes so you can get like anything?
I'm it's one of the movie databases, whether it's IMDb or maybe one of the open source ones. But ultimately, I think it has everything. I mean, I can give you the link.
Yeah, what's the link?
I'll add the link to the description in case somebody wants to do this too, this experiment.
Movierankings.net/random. Oh, and then you choose your genre, choose your subgenre.
You can see the max runtime, I guess, is 242 because you can't increase it more than that.
The only problem is it needs to be like checkboxes because like you probably don't want to watch movies from the 1900s to.
Why? Hey, I'm perfectly fine watching anything. I swear, I'm perfectly happy.
All right, fair enough.
Scraping at whatever is there.
Okay, let's see what it's telling me I have to watch. Rough Night.
Okay, what's that about?
5 best friends from college reunite 10 years later for a wild bachelorette party. A wild bachelorette weekend in Miami. Their hardest partying takes a hilariously dark turn when they accidentally kill a male stripper. Amidst the craziness of trying to cover it up, they're ultimately brought closer together when it matters most. I was going to say, it looks like Scarlett Johansson's in this. Scarlett Johansson, Jillian Bell, Zoe Kravitz, Kate McKinnon, Elena Glazer, Ty Burrell, Demi Moore.
That sounds like a pretty up there cast.
It's definitely pretty up there cast. It only made $45,000 in the box.
You got to watch this.
Given those actresses, it probably cost them $200 million to make.
Yeah, you got to watch it and see why. Why did it bomb so badly?
Oh, $45 million.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, that's a little different.
Can you imagine if it was 45,000?
I don't know why I thought the last.
Were they smoking crack the whole time they were filming, or what?
$26 million budget, $47 million made. Released in 2017. That's short hair Scarlett Johansson, though. That's easily the worst Scarlett Johansson. Hey, at least she's an MCU character. This would have been when she was doing MCU, too. Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, since 2010, somehow got suckered into doing a dark comedy chick flick.
Hey, maybe that's her fetish.
Maybe. I always like when you see like a popular actor do these like really weird movies you never heard of.
I wouldn't say it's a weird premise, though. I mean, it seems quite interesting, right?
Yeah, but again, for Scarlett Johansson, she's by this point in her career, she was making friggin' $500 million a year.
Yeah, but then it's like Daniel Radcliffe, right? Like he just goes balls to the wall with his choices. Maybe she just wants to do something similar occasionally.
Yeah, that's true. It's only on Netflix, though. I'll write it down so I don't forget. And maybe I'll watch it.
Maybe that should be my pick then. You know, let's. I'll watch it at least, but you know, you don't have to. But I'll try to watch it.
All right, so that'll be your pick for the
Yeah.
next time. I'll try to watch it also. Now that The Boys is over, I have some free time on my schedule. Although I was gonna watch this new thing with Christopher Walken because I saw some clips of it. And I thought it was pretty funny. What was it called?
Like a new thing or something that you just haven't seen yet?
Yeah, it was like a series though. Yeah, I think it was called The Outlaws. Is that what it was called? No, it wasn't called The Outlaws. What was it called? Christopher Walken. Christopher Waken. That's so dumb. Here are results for Christopher Waken. Search instead for Christopher Waken. Don't give me Christopher. Don't give me Christopher Walken. Give me Christopher Waken.
Well, who's this Christopher Waken? I'm curious. He must be more famous than Christopher Walken.
That is called The Outlaws. Okay.
But who is
It's called The
Christopher
Outlaws.
Waken?
No, now just as we didn't find any matches.
Oh man, he disappeared so quickly off the face of the earth.
At least Christopher Waken has one thing called Neighbors from 2014.
I feel like that might be a typo of Christopher Walken then. But this Christopher Waken, that's a mystery, an enigma wrapped in a Google search.
An enigma wrapped in a Google search. Anyways, it is called The Outlaws.
I think I've heard of that, but that's not like new, right? That's again somewhat.
No, it's it's from 2021.
Right. Okay. Because I remember. I think maybe Conan was talking about it with him at some point during an interview. So that might be.
I just heard about it like a week ago, so it's got a decent cast again. I think it's actually technically a British series. Oh, Stephen Merchant's in it. Stephen Merchant's a pretty funny guy.
Well, there you go. You can watch that instead.
That's what I was gonna watch next, but I'll have to watch Rough Night in between. So that's it. Scarlett Johansson, Rough Night. That'll be interesting. We'll do movie club.
Random movie club.
Yeah, random movie club. Yeah. Or you only say positive things, and I'll only say negative things.
And combined, we have a good review.
There you go. That's right.
That's beautiful. Well, I don't know. I think that's a good thing.
We cracked the code.
We pretend to be one person when we actually post this review.
Yep.
So it'll be like pros, cons, and it'll be what would it be? Well, we'll just use Draw GD.
I haven't used that in a long time.
But
So.
Draw GD. I mean, it sounds pretty ethnic, so people will like that.
Yep. Gotta capture that audience. Well, there you go. There you go. Movie club is off to a roaring start. What else we got this week?
One other thing is, I had something that I needed to buy in my list for a long time, which is a dish rack. So finally, because of Prime Day, I thought, okay, let's order it now. So I bought myself a dish rack. You know why I needed a dish rack?
Dry your dishes?
Well, so before, for
as is the standard.
for like a whole year, I was using this thing that IKEA sells, which is like this padded fabric thing where you're supposed to put dishes to dry.
That's what I use.
But the problem with it is it starts to smell very quickly, right? If I leave the dishes on there, they're still kind of wet, it's still moist. It traps because if the dish is lying on it, the inside, it's like a dome. So whatever's inside, all that stale air just causes, I guess, bacteria to grow.
Oh, it's a dome. Mine's literally just like a mat that you put on your counter.
No. Sorry,
That's...
I mean it is a mat, and that's the word I was looking for. Yes, it's a mat. But when you put a bowl on it, for example, or even like a plate that's slightly curved, if the thing is wet, then what's inside that air, that airspace inside the bowl, when it's face down, it's going to bacteria start to grow there. I don't know. It starts to smell very quickly. And I got sick of it because it's like I had to, first of all, every time I put the dishes on it, I have to make sure to not leave them for too long so they're not fully dry when I put them back into on the shelves. So I have to, and not to mention, I also then have to hang it because the thing is still quite wet even when I take the dishes off. So I'd always have to hang it. And the thing, it's again, it smells pretty bad after a while. So it's you have this thing, it's like an air freshener hanging in your relatively small apartment, and it causes the whole place to smell like mold, which is, obviously not a good thing.
That's really interesting because I've had that mat. That was one of my concerns when I got that mat. I've had that mat for 2 years.
Uh-huh.
And maybe more than 2 years because I got it when I first moved in. and I don't notice a smell, and I've never seen any like mold on the mat, underneath the mat, around the mat.
No, there's no mold visibly, but the fact that there's a smell means there's something. There's some bacteria.
I've never smelled anything. Maybe I just don't have a good nose or something, but it's never.
But how quickly do your dishes dry and the thing dries? Like, does it ever stay moist?
No.
Because I feel like that might be related to the difference in humidity.
Maybe for a few hours, but that's like it.
Okay,
like,
so
obviously a few hours, because when you tip a bowl and the water's gonna have somewhere to go. But by the next day, I would say like for sure everything's dry and fine.
yeah, by the next day is usually fine. But like, I don't know. And you never wash it?
Nope.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's a different material then, because in my case, it's only ever really clean after I've washed it.
I mean, mine's. I mean, to be fair, maybe that might be true of mine, and I just don't know where things are pulling up. You know what I mean? But I've never had a problem with it, like because I was concerned about that for sure. I mean, what I'll do is, and it doesn't work with glasses, but like bowls and stuff, is like I'll put the silverware down, and then I'll put like the bowls on top of the
Yeah,
silverware.
you kind of prop them up. Yeah. I
Yeah.
I do that sometimes, but even that doesn't really help. Because like I said, even the plates that are slanted, they'll still be like, for some reason they'll still be wet, because probably, if they're not slanted enough, then the water will still aggregate in the little divots on the bottom of the plate. And likewise, it still doesn't cause evaporation to work correctly when it's even if it's slanted, it's still, there's quite a bit inside. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I guess good on you for having a special mat.
I'm gonna have to go give my washing mat a good sniff when this is over
Start sniffing your mat.
and see if it smells.
Well, see, that's the other thing though. Like when it's dry, let's say I wait a whole day and there's no moisture on it at that point. It doesn't smell very, like you can't tell that it's really that bad. You could probably notice if you sniff it, but otherwise it's fine. It's really bad when it's wet though. And I imagine that that makes sense, right? Like when a dog is wet, for example, it smells way worse than when it's dry. It's the same principle.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never noticed it. I've honestly never noticed it. It was something I was concerned with when I got the mat, and I check it every once in a while, but I've never noticed anything. Like I've been pretty content with it.
That's
all
good.
things considered. I mean, the worst part about it is, right, with those mats versus a proper rack is you kind of have to more lay things down or wedge things in between other things to kind of, maximize its room, right? Especially if you have a good amount of dishes or bigger dishes or, very, very sized dishes, that kind of thing. Whereas with a rack, you kind of, it's got like grooves. You put your plates here and you can tip your bowl this way. You know what I mean? Here's a spot for silverware, and it's a little bit easier to like get everything on there if you got a lot. But
well, for what it's worth, mine is relatively small. Area-wise, it's actually smaller than the mat.
oh, I see. Okay.
It's just the fact that it has that verticality that makes it so that all the water actually drips through and down. So that's the main benefit I get from it.
But yeah, I've been overall pretty happy with that.
And who made it then? Is it also IKEA or something else?
No, I got it from Walmart.
Well, good for Walmart then, eh? Very nice.
I don't know if it was Walmart brand. I don't know what it was. That doesn't mean it was Walmart.
Great
but
value,
that's where I got it
most
from.
likely.
There you go. Great value. That's right.
Keep it up, Walmart.
Great value drying mat. Yeah. Now I'm gonna go smell it. It's gonna smell like fucking dog's ass, and I'll be like, oh, Jesus.
I ruined it for you.
You ruined it for me. That's right. That's right. But yeah. I will say though, this week I had a maggot run in.
Maggots on food or elsewhere?
No, not on food. So what I do is, when I make ground beef or whatever, I've started like scooping out the grease
Whoa. Okay.
and putting it into a can.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not supposed to put it down the drain, right? It usually isn't a lot.
But you
so
drain it.
I
You
used
mean
to put it.
either way?
Yeah. Well, you don't even have to drain it. You don't even really have to drain it. All you have to do is put it to one side. Is tip your pan, put it to one side, and then literally scoop out the grease.
Mm-hmm. But you don't. What I mean is, you don't eat it.
No. I scoop it out and I put it into a can, and I just leave the can. And then when it's full, you throw the can out. That way it's not going down the drain or, whatever.
You throw the can at people. You look out your window, you huck it at some passing car.
There you go. That's all. You just throw the can at. Actually, that brings me to another. I got another story too. But so usually I just leave the can out on the counter, which obviously is probably realistically not a good idea, but that's what I did.
Because it's open, right? You don't. It's just it's an open can at that point.
Yeah, it's open.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like it was literally a Campbell's can that I used for something, and I just kept it and figure I'll put the grease in there, right? But I've never had a problem with it until I've been doing that for I've been doing this now since like I don't know the fall or late fall or the start of the winter or something like that, and I haven't had a problem until now. But it was always in the back of my mind. I was like, oh, I wonder if now that the summer's coming, I wonder if flies will lay eggs in this thing. But I never did anything about it because I could have put it in the fridge or I could have put a cover on it or whatever, right? So anyways, I got home Thursday and I looked in there and there were maggots in there. I was like, oh, fuck.
Can't use that grease anymore.
Can't use that grease anymore. So it fortunately was not a big deal. It wasn't like because they weren't all, they were in a can.
Right. You made a little pool for them.
Well, not really. Well, no, I could have. All I did was I just threw the can in a Ziploc bag and then threw it in the garbage.
Yeah, you should have just left it there in the Ziploc bag. Like a little terrarium. Grease terrarium.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, a little grease terrarium.
You come back and there's flies in there. It's amazing.
That's right. Well, I'm hoping. Well, now it's in the garbage, but I imagine the maggots would just suffocate, right?
Oh, no, I don't think so. They don't breathe. They don't need oxygen, do they?
I think they need oxygen. I think everything needs oxygen.
People say that, but like there's plenty of things that seem you think like, oh, I can just suffocate this animal. No, they keep living.
No, that's not true. I don't know what you're thinking of, but that's not true.
Aren't there wasps that can
I don't know.
swim underwater for hours and not die?
Yeah, but they have to come out for air eventually.
Well, I don't know. Maggots seem to be robust.
I don't care. They're in a Ziploc bag now.
Hey, what if they chew through the Ziploc bag?
I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think that's what they do.
All right. We're going to hope. We're going to hope for the best.
No, I think we're okay. It's in the garbage. The garbage is closed, so it's all good. So from now on, when I drain my grease, I have to put it in the refrigerator afterwards.
Yeah. I think that's the smart thing to do.
Which is probably the smart thing to do anyway.
It also smells less, I think, when it's in the fridge. When it's cool, when it's cooled.
It's just grease. It's just grease. It shouldn't smell at all.
Well, no. I mean, grease smells, doesn't it? It smells like whatever you were cooking with.
I don't know. Maybe I just have a dead nose. I don't smell anything in my kitchen.
Well, just open up your cupboard which had the dead mouse in it. And just
except for the dead mouse 3 days later. That's the only thing I smell. It has to be like just the most horrific smell. I don't smell my moldy dish mat. I don't smell the 6 months of grease that was sitting on my counter.
No, I don't mean it smells
bad.
I just mean like it does have a smell. It smells like the French fries, for example. Obviously, the grease from French fries would smell, wouldn't it?
But that's kind of
there. You can make French fries out of your maggot grease.
It's kind of like over time. No, because it's not oil. It's grease. You don't.
But that's the best thing to use. Lard and grease and everything like it's great.
I don't know. I don't know enough about this stuff. I don't know. If there was a smell, it never bothered me. Like it was always just hamburger stuff, right? Because
that's fine.
Really all you need to drain the grease on. But and then as long as you're just taking out the grease, I don't know. Like I know oil, yeah, it'll smell because like over time. But if you just use it like once or twice, it doesn't really smell. And does it really smell before you start heating it up? That's the other thing.
Are you talking about like canola oil or what kind of oil?
Well, whatever you fry with, like.
Well, again, either vegetable oil or something that's more like butter.
Well, definitely oil, like oil. Yeah, not butter.
Okay, yeah. So that stuff can definitely start to go bad, like just oil, because I don't know if you might not ever have had oil stay around in your pantry for long enough, but if you do, it can really go bad. It can go rancid. Like it really? Smells bad, yeah. I've had that happen.
I have oil in my cupboard. I've probably had it there for like 2 years. What kind of oil is it? Because I just use like a little bit. Like if I cook pasta, you put a little bit.
Yeah, I get that. That's the main reason for it happening is because usually you get a really large amount, like a big tub of it or a big container, and yeah, if you don't use it quickly enough, eventually it might go bad. It's not guaranteed, but it can go bad. So because, maybe
I
there's
imagine
something
everything
goes
goes
in.
bad eventually. I just wonder. Yeah, you don't really think about things like that, but
That happened actually with even like, let's say you buy tortilla chips. I've had this happen with tortilla chips, where it's like it's a huge bag from Costco or something. You don't end up eating it quickly enough, and it's not that they become stale, but they actually like have this smell to them where it feels like the oil that they were made with has gone bad, has gone rancid.
oh, okay.
And it's not like it'll kill you, but it's
I don't really
off.
eat tortilla chips, so I don't notice that. But
Yeah, I mean, tortilla chips is the only one I would really imagine it for because those don't really go bad as quickly as potato chips. Obviously, potato chips when they're stale, they're you don't
yeah,
want to eat them.
yeah,
But
yeah.
with tortilla chips, you can use them in many other dishes, so potentially you might have them around for a while.
Hmm, okay, interesting.
All about smells this episode.
I know, right? I'm learning so many things that my kitchen is probably the fucking most disgusting thing on planet Earth, and I don't even notice it.
No, for what it's like, unless this happened within the past year, because when I visited you, it was fine.
I was
No
gonna say you got
complaints.
like a crazy nose. What did you smell when you came into my
I
house?
don't have a crazy nose though, actually.
I don't know. We're identifying a lot of smells you smell and I don't here. So this is
No, I didn't smell
it's
anything
getting
off.
wild here. Yeah, I was gonna say I think my house is usually pretty okay, but I don't know. That's the other thing. You never know what your house smells like.
Exactly.
It's hard to it's because you get used to that smell, right? So the best time to find out what your house smells like is after you come back from a vacation. That's the time, and you only get a very small window. But I never go on vacations, so I don't ever get to smell my house nice and fresh.
You got to bring in a stranger every now and then.
That's right. So what do you smell? What do you smell?
Just grab someone off the street. They don't even have to come inside. You just open the door, they take a whiff, they give you their estimate, and then they leave.
That's right. Here's $20. Just grab a homeless person. Maybe
There
not.
should be a whole career dedicated to this called sniffers.
Sniffers, house sniffers.
You could be a sniffer.
There you go.
Put your nose to it. There you go.
There you go.
That's a whole that's a plot line for some crazy sitcom in the future.
Yeah, that would be a crazy sitcom. It would last exactly one season.
Well, like most sitcoms.
That's true, actually. Yeah, that is true, actually. But yeah, there you go. So that was my kitchen maggot encounter.
Okay, tell us about the story about throwing the can at the car.
No, I was coming home from doing laundry on Wednesday, and there was somebody in the driveway, in my spot in the driveway. So I left and I went to eat. Went and got a nice firehouse sub, which I started going to a lot more often after we went. Before we went, I never went,
It was quite good.
but now it's like it was quite good. Yeah, it was quite good. Versus Subway, which are these little fucking
Yeah, just the amount that you get is very good for
yeah, and they're
for the
roughly the
price.
same price, which is what's wild. So, anyways, I go more often there, and so I went and got Firehouse subs. Make sure that the person in the driveway. They usually, if somebody parks in my spot or behind me or something, they usually don't stay long. But I went and got food, ate, came back half an hour later, and they were still in the driveway. I was like, "Ah, great, now I gotta go ask this idiot to move." And I knew roughly who it was because I pay attention, and it was my downstairs neighbor, who I've said before is definitely a drug dealer. One of his friggin' homeless tweaked out clients.
Wait, is this the same person as last time?
What was last time?
Did you have this encounter? I think it was some woman, wasn't it?
No, this was a guy. The woman was like a veritable homeless person who had a fucking shopping cart and everything. This guy actually has a car.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay.
he's probably not homeless. He's probably just a major tweaker. Probably in a halfway house or friggin' whatever. But I was like, oh great. And he's got two pit bulls, which I hate pit bulls. Everybody's like, oh, they're nanny dogs and all that. Nope, there's a reason they're banned. And I don't think I've ever encountered a pit bull that I've been like, yeah, I'd call this a nanny dog for sure.
What's a nanny dog?
Like they were like people say they're literally like dogs who will like protect your children, like literally like nannies.
I would never say that. I would never say that about any dog.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't say that about anybody. You friggin' certainly wouldn't say that about the dog that shows up in just about every dog attack news story in North America, or 90% of them. But there's always the advocates for the pit bulls and all that kind of stuff, and whatever. There's many breeds that I think should not exist, and pit bulls is right at the top of my list. But anyways, he has 2 pit bulls, and I was like, oh great, now I gotta go ask this idiot to move. And I know they saw me the first time because when I came home originally, I drove by and I know he saw me. Him and the drug dealer saw me, and then I left and went and eat. I was like, okay, they'll be gone by the time I'm back, and he wasn't. So I had to go up to his car, and it looked like he was passed out in the car, probably because he just got his fix.
Oh, he was in the car. I thought you would have to go to, the guy's apartment.
No, I would have much preferred going to the guy's apartment because he's. I call him a drug dealer. He's a nice guy though, but he's definitely a drug dealer.
He's a nice drug dealer.
He's a nice drug dealer, but the people he brings around, man, I don't trust him at all. So I had to go up to the car. He was like passed out in it.
Probably the deal went well, so he wanted to reap his rewards.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I walked up to his thing. All his windows were open. I was like, "Hey, bud." And his fucking dogs just start going off. I'm like, "Oh, great, I'm gonna die."
Why? The dogs are in the car, right?
The windows are open.
Yeah, but they're not going to jump out. They're not stupid.
How do you know they're not? How do you know these friggin' vicious, monstrous animals are not going to jump out the window?
Well, how big are they? Maybe they can't fit through the windows.
Maybe. I don't know.
That'd be hilarious, wouldn't it? If they're trying to get out. It's like a cartoon segment where the dogs are trying to get out, but they're too fat to get out of the window. So then they get stuck, and yeah, that'd be great. But that didn't happen, did it?
It didn't happen. No. The dogs just barked at me. But the guy woke up right away.
Well,
Probably because the dog's barking.
They're an alarm for him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Make sure his heart doesn't stop in the middle of his fun. I was like, you got to move, dude. I need to get in my parking spot. He's like, oh, yeah. I was just leaving. Yeah, it looked like you were. But he did leave. But that was my experience with that.
Oh, so you didn't end up throwing a can of grease at him.
I didn't throw a can. Oh, yeah, sorry. I missed that part. And then I had a can of maggoty grease in my pocket, and I threw it at his head, and then I got back in my car and waited for him to pull out.
See, it's a bit weird. No, you wouldn't have done that. You have to throw it from afar. Otherwise, the grease there's a big chance that it'll splatter on you. And you don't want that.
No, it's solid. What are you talking about?
Fully solid, really? It wouldn't explode on impact?
I don't think it would.
Okay. That's some very stable grease you got. You should construct something out of it.
What are you talking about? It solidifies. It's like a candle. I could have put a wick in the middle. I could have had a...
Why didn't you do that? That's such a good idea.
Because I got maggots in my...
Maggoty beef candle. Come on. That's beautiful. That's an idea for people. On Etsy, they have all these things people make. You could be among the top. Maggoty bacon beef candles.
Yeah, it's not bacon. I don't make bacon.
Well, maggoty beef candles.
There you go. That's $1 million idea right there.
Get on it. Yeah. I mean, come on. It's like you can make this every now and then as a prototype. You can go on Dragon's Den. There you go. Shark Tank, Dragon's Den, doesn't matter. You show it off to them, give them a big sniff.
Okay, I got a question though.
Uh-huh.
For candles, so you burn it down and the wax melts and all that stuff, right? What's stopping you from just putting another wick in the wax and just continuously reusing the wax?
Well, the wax burns off. That's the problem.
I guess it does. Yeah,
it's not the wick that's the issue. It's the fact that the wax... That's why, you shouldn't put a candle somewhere where you don't want some sort of substance to form, because when the wax is burning, it actually is... you don't want to sniff the candle for too long, because that stuff gets in your lungs.
You get wax in your nose?
In your lungs, not just your nose.
Oh, your lungs.
Right? I mean, if you sniff it well enough, then it'll go in there. Then you're going to be like, you're going to succumb to the same situation as the people in One Piece did when Mr. What's-his-face, the wax candle man, applied wax to them.
That's right.
But yeah, no, I don't think the grease candle will work after all, because it's different, right? It doesn't burn. It doesn't evaporate. You'd have like a non-ending grease fire, basically.
Yeah.
Which is probably not a good thing, right?
Yeah, that's probably not good. Yeah.
As controlled as it may be.
Can't do that. Could light it on fire and then throw it at people.
Well, but then you get caught for having some sort of Molotov cocktail-like stuff.
They wouldn't catch me. There'd be no evidence.
Just a can. Campbell's. They're going to think it's somebody named Campbell.
That's right. Who is this Campbell? How do we arrest them? Their name is clearly on the can. This must be the perpetrator.
It's like somebody finding underwear that says Calvin Klein on it and thinking their name's Calvin.
There you go. That's right. All right. Well, with that, let's do your word of the fortnight.
My word this time has a little bit of a story that I kept wanting to get to but never did. So let me tell you this quick story first. So every other day for breakfast, I have, so it's eggs. It's like an omelet basically, but it's eggs, some bacon bits, and the cubed frozen potatoes that I would buy. You know those ones, the good ones,
No,
not the
don't start
crappy
with me.
ones.
Why are you starting?
Not the crappy
Oh, okay.
ones. Not
All
the
right.
crappy ones. Remember the ones I was looking for in Canada, couldn't really find
Yeah.
because they don't have the just right size.
Right.
But in Portugal, I was buying this up all the time, taking like 10 bags, not 10 bags, but anyway, you see the point. It was readily available. But recently, I went shopping and they were gone. No more cubed frozen potatoes.
Uh-oh.
And I'm looking like, okay, well, what's
And they
my
replaced him with the McCains.
No, there are some McCain stuff, but it's all unrelated. So I'm looking, okay, maybe it's just, this one-off time. 'Cause sometimes, they don't have everything every time. Sometimes I guess it's either sold out or maybe they didn't get a restock. So I'll forgive them. So I buy, these potato chip shaped frozen potatoes instead. And yeah, they're okay. They're like, again, they're in the shape of potato chips, kind of smallish, but they're too thick, so they don't cook as well. They don't have that nice shape to evenly distribute the heat.
You should have the smiley face ones.
They don't have those. Otherwise, I probably would.
Oh.
But anyway, so those worked well enough, and like, okay, whatever. Next time I go, even those are gone. What do I have left? What do I have left is two kinds of
Portuguese
frozen
potato
fries.
shortage.
No, but they still have the frozen fries, just regular ones, right? Like, and okay, so they have two. They have the regular sized ones, which are a bit too bulky for me, and they have the thin ones. So those fry up pretty well. So I went with the thin variety. And again, I pan fry them, so I want them to fry up quickly, and I don't have to worry about it.
Right.
And then I go the next time, and guess what? The thin ones are gone. So all that's left is regular fries.
I think there's something going on with those too, though, because like just I don't know, potatoes or fries in general. Because I'm finding the same thing lately. I'll get like crinkle cut fries, right?
Those are the ruffled types, right?
Yeah. And no particular reason. It's just what I grab, right? It's what I have in my freezer. So every time I go, I just like to get the same ones because I always have a little bit left over, and so just to make sure everything's kind of even, I like to just get the same ones. But I'm having a hard time getting them. Like it's kind of hit or miss recently, and like a lot of the French fries are like gone, and it's just like, oh, okay, well this is kind of awkward. So I don't know, maybe there actually is some sort of
potato
a
shortage.
Potato shortage going on.
Jeez,
Yeah.
Big Potato keeping us down. It's because we didn't vote for Lamb Weston to win in the tournament. Seeing possibilities in potatoes, my ass.
Yep.
Seeing impossibilities.
Possibilities of getting French fries. There you go. Anyways, go on.
Well,
yeah.
so basically, I'm kind of half tempted to buy an industrial potato cuber so that I can fight the big potato by doing it myself. I probably won't do it, but that would have been funny if I actually if I got to the point where I have to cube my own potatoes.
It was. I remember in high school when I took cooking classes in 11 and 12, right?
They did have those, eh? And I think didn't they show off all the utilities they use in the cafeteria?
Well, that's what we did in. Did you take those cooking classes?
I don't think I took the cooking classes, but I feel like
for those of you who don't know, Raji and I went to the same high school. We were in the same grade and everything, so we go way back. So when we talk like this, we actually are doing it on a realistically personal level.
we're not making up a backstory.
Yeah, we're not just talking about like what was your experience versus my experience. No, we had roughly the same experience.
We're the same person.
That's right. Actually, you've never seen us in the same place at the same time, so how do you know we're not?
We're just very good at changing our voices. Can you imagine if this was actually the case?
No, I'm very good at changing my voice. You can't say we.
Well, you have to say we.
If we're letting the veil drop, you can't say we.
Well, who's the real one, though?
That's true. Who's the real one?
But anyway, let's go on so that we don't go off on a tangent about existentialism.
So you didn't take
No, I
classes
did
in
not.
11.
But I feel like I remember seeing, at least maybe because they were doing a tour or something, I remember seeing something in the cafeteria's kitchen.
So the cooking classes in 11 and 12 were responsible pretty much. They taught you stuff in between, but also there was always like a group that had to like prep the lunches for the next day. So I think the grade 11s or something had the afternoon classes and the 12s had the morning classes or something, or reverse or whatever. And so one would prep for the next day and then the other would do the actual cooking for the lunch. Whoever was in the morning group, I can't remember who it was. So we'd have to do the French fries because one of the big things that's at the high school at the time was the poutine. I mean, they made a banger poutine. All right, I loved it. So we'd have to prep them, and we had to hand cut all the French fries. And so whoever ended up on that task, it was this thing. You just put the potato on it, and then you just press down. It was like a press. It was like this manual ass press. It was like right up against the wall. You know, like the pencil sharpeners.
I remember that. See,
like
that's what I remember
right near
distinctly.
The door.
I remember that
Yeah.
that potato cutter.
Yeah, and it was like right up. It was right near the door, like where a pencil sharpener would be. You had to press down, and they would just drop into a bucket like 4 feet down, or 3 feet under the thing. It was the most poverty ass potato.
But hey, it works,
cutter,
right?
Setup I've ever seen. Yeah, and he still had it. Like all the times that I went, afterwards, because I knew him, and I liked him, he liked me. So, we always talked and all that stuff, and even years after they had, because I was still, going back to do student teaching and all that, probably for the next, I don't know, 4-ish years after that. So he always had it, man. I wonder if they still have it.
I mean, it probably never fails, right? Because it's just like a very simple mechanism.
Well, that's it. It was just a grate, I guess you would say.
It's a sharpened grate.
Push down and a sharpened grate. Yeah, I don't know how you, like, eventually you feel like it has to wear out though, right?
Well, you sharpen it again, yeah.
How would you sharpen it again? Because
you put some metal fries through instead, metal potatoes.
Ah, there you go. That's the answer right there. But that's what I remember. So when you say like, I'm gonna make my own potato thing, I was like, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But it was quick though. You just put it in, you do it, but then you have to like wash them and get all the starch off and all that kind of stuff. But for a small amount, I feel like that's probably not an issue. You just run them underwater really quick. Probably takes 10 minutes and move on.
Or you just don't do it once in a while just to see how people react to it.
There you go. I think if you're pan frying them, you're probably okay not. I mean, you want to wash them anyways because you want to get any dirt and all that, off the potatoes in general. But
a bit of metal filings from the sharpening of the tool.
That's right. But in general, I think you get starch off because I don't think it reacts well with.
Yeah, it's probably for the deep fryer.
Fryers or whatever. Yeah. So if you're just pan frying them, you're probably okay in that regard.
It's fascinating. The way that fries apparently deep fry is when you drop a fry into, or like when you drop a potato, well, in the shape of a fry into a deep fryer, the water content inside, it because it's so hot, the water content becomes steam, and that's why the inside becomes fluffy, and the outside becomes crusty and like, not that's a bad way of putting it, but like crunchy,
yeah.
Because the oil solidifies and like fries the outside. So that's the ideal fry is when...
The outside is crunchy and the inside is steamed.
Yeah, and that's because, you need that correct water content inside. And like, if you have a situation where it's like you're refrying fries or whatever, it doesn't work for that reason, that the inside is no longer correct.
I have never refried anything.
Well, no, but you know what I mean. It's like if somebody tries to do it, let's say they buy some fries, or let's say somebody buys some, McDonald's fries. They're already deep fried. And then they try to like reuse them because they're stale. They want to it's like pizza, right? You want to heat it up.
Right, but I would never put it in the fryer. Like if I had to reheat something fried, it would just end up in a stove or a microwave.
Yeah, and I get it. But what if someone is experimenting? They just want to see
okay.
does
it
work?
I know. You're talking hypothetically. Yeah, I know.
It's interesting. And you know where I got that tidbit?
Where'd you get that tidbit?
From Malcolm Gladwell. He did a whole episode about McDonald's French fries.
French fries. Nice. There you go. McDonald's French fries. They're the best fast food French fries, to be fair. Well, actually,
his whole episode was dedicated about how at some point in the 90s, they switched from using beef tallow as the oil to, whatever they use now, and that it was a significant decline in quality. And he actually did a whole test, like a blind taste test for people from old generations, new generations. And yeah, he confirmed that those old ones that used the beef tallow were exquisite.
That being said, though, French fries are still McDonald's most popular. It's their highest revenue generating item on their menu. So, and like I said, they're one of the better ones. Even in their current state, they're one of the better ones. I like A&W ones the most, or not A&W. Arby's ones the most, but McDonald's is up there. I usually don't like fries from these fast food places, but I'll eat McDonald's fries and I'll eat Arby's fries.
So my word now.
Anyway, so yeah, this was actually tied to something. Yeah.
Yeah, so I started talking about all this all because of cubed potatoes. But here's my facepalm moment. So when I was looking all this up again, I was trying to figure out like, okay, cubed potatoes, what's going on? Is there a conspiracy against me or something? But anyway, I discovered, when a recipe says you have to slice and dice something, that phrase, slice and dice, that's not just an expression. I thought for my whole life, I thought slice and dice was just an expression for them to say in a witty way to cut the stuff. So slice is to cut. Dice is to cut into small cubes. That's actually, I didn't know that. My whole life I went thinking that diced was not I didn't think anything of the word diced. But that's actually what it is. It's actually to cut into small cubes. So our word is diced, which is an adjective, and most people probably are aware of this. But for me, it was brand new to see that, yes, this is actually, when a recipe says to dice, they actually mean cut it into cubes. And I was wondering, well, how are you supposed to cut this? No, it's you cube it. You put it into cubes. And I'll give you the example. This is the example I wrote in light of the situation. The supermarket stopped selling diced frozen potatoes because Big Potato is out to get me.
That's the worst sentence I ever heard of.
Why? It uses all the pieces of our story.
You know what fascinates me?
What?
I'm going to insult you a little bit here. So don't get... You cook way more than me, but I know way more about cooking than you.
You watch a lot of cooking shows.
I do watch a lot
That's
of cooking shows. That's
the main reason, I think. You can learn a lot from those. I fully understand that. There's people...
Yeah, you really can. Even if you don't watch the person sitting in front of a thing going oh, we're going to make a fucking chicken casserole or whatever today. If you just watch the reality shows, the cooking contests and all that, you still learn a lot.
No, I think those shows are really educational for that, actually. People might dismiss them as just being reality TV, but you probably learn a lot more on those than Survivor.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, it's a lot more relevant too. When are you going to need anything you would even learn in Survivor?
Yeah, absolutely.
The population that would is so small, right? But yeah.
But no, I mean, good for you for knowing it. For me, it was actually a facepalm moment. I had no idea. For some reason, it just slipped my mind.
Oh my God.
And it's crazy to see that oh wow, okay, it makes perfect sense now.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Even just the fact that why are they called diced? The roll of a die, for example. It's the same principle.
That's right. Well, there you go. Now you're gonna be dicing all your
I'm gonna be dicing everything. From now on, everything's gonna be diced.
And you're gonna be one of those actually people. Whenever somebody just says, slice and dice, you're gonna be, well, actually, that's two different things.
I'm gonna poke at my glasses, my invisible glasses.
Yep. Prop
them up.
All right. On that note,
it's Tots time.
Do 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 do. In case you missed last episode and you're not watching these sequentially for some reason, we're doing Pokemon Legendary Cries. So we don't know who the Pokemon are. We're just judging based on sound, and it's going to be glorious. So here we go. We're on match number 5 between number 40 and number 89. Here we go. Here's 40. Okay. I like how it tails off into a nice...
It's like a truck passing by.
A nice echo. It kind of is, yeah. But it's got a crystallized...
It's like an ice cream truck passing
deep,
by.
But it ends up...
Yeah, it's like an ice cream truck passing by. It sounds
very... Well, yeah, I don't quite know if that's how I would describe it.
That's what you said. Twinkling sounds are ice. So I feel like it's an ice cream truck.
I don't know if this one... Okay, I don't know if I would give this one ice, though. It kind of sounds more like crystal.
Is there a crystal type?
So maybe some... No, but it might be something like psychic.
Yeah, maybe. So it's a psychic ice cream truck passing by.
Yeah, a psychic ice cream truck. So that was number 40. All right, let's check out number 89.
It's like a flying Pokemon that's screeching before it rips your head off.
You think flying?
Yeah. Like a bird.
No, I think it might be. But because it's got kind of two things, to me it sounds more like a bark or something. So I would guess more that it's more of a...
Like a dog?
Grounded Pokemon. Yeah, not necessarily a dog, but to me that one sounds more like a grounded Pokemon.
Okay.
And then the first one, actually I didn't think about what kind of Pokemon the first one would be.
Well, it's a roar.
That could be kind of.
It's a roar.
Yeah, that one's definitely a roar. Yeah.
The roar of an ice cream truck, a psychic ice cream truck.
Can't even guess. Am I allowed to look at the Pokemon?
No, stop. I added the link, by the way, but don't look at it.
No, I don't want to look at the link though. I just want to look at all the legendary Pokemon. And,
but why? Why would you want to do that? You're spoiling it for yourself.
Not really, because I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but
I just want to look at what the legendary Pokemon are to see if I can.
Well, whatever. Go ahead. But also, don't. That's the thing. You don't want to guess, or you don't want to pick one based on which Pokemon you think it is.
No, you're right. But I don't know. But the thing is, I don't know. But
because it could be.
Part of this for me is like I want to kind of guess like what maybe it is.
Because that's the thing. I wouldn't want to pick a Pokemon sound based on the appearance of the Pokemon.
No. I agree with you. But again, I don't know what it is, so I'm not really. I'm just trying to think because I don't know all the legendary Pokemon, right? So I just kind of want to.
And it's not just legendary; it's special Pokemon. Just to remind the listeners.
Yeah. Legendary, sub-legendary, and mythical.
And Scyther.
And that's right. I forgot Scyther was in this shit. That throws things off a little bit.
Just the one. It's fine. It's just the one. Doesn't matter. You know what it looks like a praying mantis.
Okay, so one more time. 40 and 89. All right, who do you got in this one?
I'm gonna go with the first one, just because of I like the fact that it's like it has that Doppler effect. If you don't know that it's a Pokemon. Doppler effect meaning that it's like a truck passing by and it changes the pitch as it's passing by.
Yeah, I know. I do like number 40. I like the first one. I like the way it trails off into that crystallized. It's very deep and then trails off into that crystal thing. I think that makes it very, very mythical sounding. So or legendary sounding or whatever. So yeah, okay. That one took it. Number 40. All right, here we go. Number 6, 56 versus 73. Here's 56.
It's like a car swerving.
That one sounds like an earlier one. It doesn't have as much depth to it, It's very flat.
I mean, or Game Freak just got lazy, right?
It gave up. Yeah, that's right.
No one's going to care.
Yeah. Okay, all right. That's 56. I don't have much to say about that one.
Yeah, it's kind of bland.
Yeah, here's 73. Oh, shit, that one's really... These both sound like very basic Pokemon.
From the first few generations.
Like, I wouldn't even necessarily... Yeah, from the first 1 or 2 generations, for sure. I wouldn't even necessarily be surprised if one of them weren't Scyther.
Well, I don't know. I can't tell.
I don't know.
I kind of like the second one because the first one really is a bit bland for me.
Yeah. I don't particularly like either of them, to be honest with you. But your vote's going to 73?
Yeah, I think so. You're right, though. They're both short. They're both kind of nothing. But, we got to pick one.
Yeah, we got to pick one. All right, I'm going to go with yours. I'm going to go with 73. All right, number 7, 41 against 88. Here's 41. Okay. All right, that one's very high-pitched, very crystalline also. So that one sounds like maybe something like a Mew or a Celebi.
Like a little child Pokemon.
Yeah, something smaller. Yeah, something smaller and floaty. Yeah. And 88.
Oh my god. That's such a long one.
That one's really long.
Hold on, play that again.
All right, let's play it again. That one sounds like it's like 3 different Pokemon.
it's like a bird Pokemon, like egg dropping something on something and flying off.
That one's wild. That is true. That's kind of what it sounds
like. Bombing
like.
a target. I kind of like it because of that. I kind of like how in depth that it's telling a story.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That one intrigues me a lot. I'm really gonna look forward to going back through this at the end.
I'm gonna probably reveal all of them at the end. I'll just make it so that you can see everything.
Go through each one and play it and say what it is. Yeah.
Or even just instead of where the check mark is, I'll just have the file name.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going for 88. I really like this one.
Yeah,
I do really like that one. All right. So 88 takes it, and the last one for today, 61 versus 68. Let's see, 61. Another basic one. Not much going on. That one could be one of the birds, maybe. I could see that being one of the birds, maybe. One of the first birds. And 68. That one's another one that sounds like a horse or something, like a horse Pokemon.
Just somebody screeching. Somebody screaming in the distance. Something for a horror movie.
Very loud. 61. 68. They kind of sound both like the same Pokemon. Whatever it is, it kind of sounds like the same Pokemon, just one's more in distress or angry. Like 61 sounds like calm. And 68's like a friggin' giant roar from the same Pokemon.
I mean, I think I have my choice.
Okay, what do you got?
I will go with 68. It's a bit long. Because even though it sounds like it's just a screech, there is a change there. You can tell it's not just one single note, right?
That is true. Yeah, you can hear it.
It's kind of subtle, but it's quite good. And you can hear also the somewhat a bassier part at the end as well.
Yep.
Whereas this is you know what, you got to hand it to Game Freak if we're actually accurate in saying that maybe that first one is from one of the first generations and then the other one is from one of the later ones. They did add more detail.
They did,
even though they have very limited, there's still limited sound effects. Some of them do sound more complicated.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, yeah, coming in from what you said, before we started, it's like there does sound like different. There are different like patterns and contexts, and it does. If we're right about earlier ones or whatever, there definitely does seem to be an. Of course, if I'm completely wrong about this, and like 61 is like just last generation's, Pokemon or whatever. Okay. But
that'll be hilarious.
It does seem like there's some depth and there's definitely some evolution to. I don't know if I would call that. I don't know if I'd believe that's a late one, but I could see that being a
later, though.
Middle-ish one. Yeah, I'll go 68 also. I think 68 is a better sound. I think I like the long, more roary types over the short, double taps.
Well, yeah, you see, there's only two sounds there. There's literally like just two sounds, whereas 68 actually has at least three sounds, but it also has the gradient to each of those sounds.
Yeah, kind of goes up and then goes back down and then trails off. Yeah, I'm gonna go 68 also.
Look at this. We're appreciating 1 and 2 second sound clips from like. Music aficionados appreciate songs, 3-minute, 4-minute, 5-minute songs. We appreciate 1 to 2 second clips of some Pokemon cries.
Yep, that's right. Of some synthetically made, probably by some intern. They were like, here's the soundboard. Just come up with 150 different ones.
Yeah, they have some buttons. Each of them gives you some effect, and then they just combine them together. But we see the passion. We see the passion from those interns pressing those buttons.
That's right. Yeah, we see it. We see it completely. There you go. That's it for today, guys. And we'll see you next time.